Do you know what I'm glad I'm no longer the queen of?
What?
This is a title I'm glad to give up,
Okay.
but I have to sometimes slap my hand because I try to do it again. Multitasking.
Mhm.
I used to be like, I could have six things going at once and they're all getting done so good and ba 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 ba. And guess what? They never were. But when I was in my heightened anxiety and always needing to stay busy and all these things, and you had what I thought were all these people coming at me, and I had to do things and I had to get this done and do this and do that, I would just throw all the dishes up in the air and try to catch each one and do everything to it all at
Mhm.
once.
Mhm.
But I think, well, I should put it this way. I think there's levels of multitasking. And what I mean by that is before we started this recording, I threw a load of laundry in. And then we're doing this. So that's kind of a multitasking. You have laundry going and you're recording.
Mhm.
But I think that's just efficiencies because I'm not going to throw in a load of laundry and just sit and wait for the laundry to be done and not do anything else because the time it takes. But are you a multitasker or a single task?
See, now that's interesting because in that example that you gave, I would not consider that multitasking.
Which one? Doing the
The
laundry or having
laundry.
all the dishes going?
Yeah, no, the laundry
Well,
situation.
yeah, so that's okay.
It's
That's
just part of running the house, kind of.
Well,
yeah,
it's not even just that, but it doesn't like other than the actual act of putting the laundry in, adding the soap, put the setting on, that is the only thing that's required of me in order for that job to be done
Yeah.
until it's finished, and then I take it out and then
right,
I'm required again, take it out and put it into the dryer, right? So
right.
it's not like it's not like I'm actually putting the stuff in the dryer and cooking a meal at the same time. I'm not doing that, if you know what I mean. That's to me is
Hmm.
more multitasking when you're literally trying to do more than one thing at a time.
At the
That's
same
sort
time.
of, yeah, at
Yeah,
exactly the same time. And I
yes.
don't believe that it actually multitasking even exists.
I
People
think
like to say they are good at doing that,
yeah,
and I think people like to say they like to say it with a badge of honor, like, "Oh, I'm great at multitasking. I can do six or seven things at the same
We have
time."
the queen here.
Yeah,
I'm the queen.
yeah.
I'm the
But
queen.
but honestly, I don't care for how long it is, even if it's for 15 seconds. If you are switching your attention from one thing to another, then you are becoming singular in that thing. And
Yes.
you're right. The problem becomes is that in order to be able to switch from thing to thing to thing to thing, your focus is going to be lowered in terms of how you're actually doing that next thing. And then when you try to go back to the first thing that you were doing, it takes you longer to actually figure out where was I? What was I doing? What's the next thing that I have to do in this particular
Yep.
email project? You got to reread, you know what I mean? Like in terms of efficiency, I'm not so sure that that actually exists with multitasking either.
No, and you're right. It used to be like this badge of honor. And it kind of there was kind of, I want to say an expectation a little bit.
Mhm.
Like growing up that you were doing all these things to keep your house running and you had a job and all of this. And I think part of the thing is we don't ask for help. So you end up multitasking. And you're right, because the minute you have to take your brain, even though for a split second and come back, it is it takes longer for it to catch up to what you have to do. So there's this I think this premise that you get so much done when you multitask, when in actuality, you get more done in a single task when you're single task focused.
I also
Yeah.
think, like you said, it was a badge of honor. And I
Yeah.
think if we start looking a little deeper, there was value attached to it. Look at
Mhm.
me. I'm valuable. I can do all of this all at the same time. That person over there can't. Look at me. I can run my house. I could go to work. I could blah, 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 blah. And I just find it interesting that there is some, to me, there is some value attached, your self worth of whether you could, in a time period, get 3 things done instead of one thing really, really good. Because then it's like, well, what about those other 2 things?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's that we take so much on because I'm the only one who can do it right.
Yeah.
When in actuality, what should be happening, I shouldn't say should, the the thing to do is you need to have conversations with who else in, whether it's your household, whether it's your work, whether whatever it is, like, hey, time out. There's some, we need to have a talk there. I need some help here, but we always had, like we said, the badge of honor. I can do it all. And there was a podcast I listened to. It was from Jay Shetty about the same thing. And it was talking about how our brain just has that hard time of bouncing back and forth, like ping
Mhm.
ponging back and
Mhm.
forth.
Mhm.
And even the suggestion was, if you have to single focus, sometimes people are like, but I can't focus for that long. Then fine, set a timer for 15 minutes and just focus on that single task and then break away. You would end up being more productive and doing more in 15 minutes than if you multitasked and was bouncing back and forth.
And your energy level would be different too, because it's
Totally.
Yes.
very taxing on you to be your brain switching. Like, and that's why they, for a while, a couple of years back, deep work was all the talk, like deep work, deep work. But it
Yep.
makes sense. You're focusing on something, you can give it your all your energy, and you're not
Right.
tapping out every 3 minutes because and
Yeah.
unfortunately social media has really enforced that multitasking. I'm gonna watch TV while I'm on TikTok, while I'm, I don't know, cooking dinner, I don't know. But
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like,
You're
so
seriously.
right.
it's kind of reinforced it back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that,
Absolutely.
I think that whole distractibility
Mm-hmm.
about your phone also makes people believe that they can multitask when in reality they can't. It's
Yes.
like having a conversation with somebody while they're sitting there on their phone texting somebody else and they're going, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's like,
Did you
did
hear
you
what I
get
said?
it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
did you though? What did I just say? You
Yeah.
basically want to challenge what did I say?
And I
But
found
that is,
myself
that's the
falling.
multitasking, right? Like, they
Yep.
believe that they're doing
All of
everything
it.
and they're giving all their attention to each area.
Yeah. And
Yep.
nothing is suffering in that
Mm-hmm.
process, which is so not the case, as we all know.
I actually just recently, because I was finding it the biggest distraction, I shut off all my notifications on the phone.
Mm,
The only thing I get a notification on is if I have a text or a call. Everything else is shut off. All my social media, my emails, anything like that. Any of my apps, I have no notice. It doesn't even, like, you can have a notification, but then it gives you a number, like ba 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 ba. You can silence it so it doesn't come up, but it'll show you like the
mm,
numbers and
Right.
stuff.
yeah.
No, I show none of that. I don't see anything. And sometimes I found that works so much better that I found that I don't even like, oh, hey, even look at yeah, social media today. Like like it was like, oh, I didn't even, because I don't have that noise,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the visual noise coming at me, the little ding noise. I just shut them all off. And at 8 o'clock at night, my phone goes into do not disturb. If someone was to call or text, I don't even get a notification. Now for me, I'm my children are grown. they're across the country, they have their own families, so I don't have something to care for.
Right.
When I had like my parents and there were things going on, that just happened maybe 5 years ago. That was not something that was normal. But you can set it to do not disturb and put down allowances
Yeah.
of who's allowed to come in.
Yeah. That's what I
You
have.
know, yeah, that's what I have. But that was a huge change for me because I always had to be ready for work and I had to be ready for this and had to be ready for that. Nope, none of it. None of it. It doesn't disturb it. But I find I put a timer on. If there's something I have to concentrate on, I put a timer on. Because
Why do you put a timer on?
because if I have a big project, sometimes I find it overwhelming because
Mhm.
there's so many steps. So I had to do a really big presentation and do something for something. And there was just so many steps to it that it it can be very tedious to it.
Mm.
And for some people,
So
that
it's
can be overwhelming.
sorry. So it's a reminder for you to take a moment here, go
Yeah,
walk around, take a
walk
glass of
around.
water. Or something. Okay,
Yep,
I
just like
gotcha.
do it or stretch your legs, stand while I stand. When I'm recording, I'm sitting, but right now I've got myself where I literally stand at my desk for 8 hours to do what I have to do. So it makes me move, it makes me do
Mhm.
things. And it also states sometimes when you have a big project to do something, breaking it down into mean smaller tasks make your brain will concentrate on that smaller task before moving to the next one. So if you have a presentation or whatever, your brain sometimes will go off into all these tangents and you're like, no, I'm just going to focus on
Mhm.
that. Like I'm going to put an outline together. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to put a high level outline on it. Okay, I'll have my outline. I know it sounds tedious, but then you could take one part. What am I putting in this and this and this? And you end up being able to focus clearer in smaller time frames than when you were like, okay, I'm going to spend the next 4 hours putting this presentation together. Well, if you did that 4 hours in 20-minute breaks, you'd probably get it done in 3 hours, and it would probably be more detailed than just 4 hours of flowing. And that's a tangent off of multitasking. That's my piece.
But it is. No, you're saying
Yeah,
focus work as opposed to
yeah.
a bunch of different tasks, or you know, I think it's
Let's
that we
say,
just.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think we fool ourselves thinking that we're getting things done as much done as we think we are.
But also, multitasking can be a sign of procrastination that you don't want to do what you're supposed to be doing. So,
Mhm.
wait a minute, I'm going to go start that over here, and I'm going to go do this over
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
And if that is the key, then that's where this little trick comes in because that procrastination could be, I really don't want to do this. It's too overwhelming. Oh my God, I have all this work. And just breaking it in pieces then allows you to say, oh, I can do 10 minutes on that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then go and do whatever you have to do. So, because, we all procrastinate on what we don't want to do. We don't say, yay, I don't want to do this. Let's go do it.
Uh, Wouldn't that be great though? If we did. That would be awesome.
Well, we could, but no, we would have to do a lot of brain training,
I know. I know.
a lot of it. So, what about you, viewer? Are you a multitasker? Do you check your phones while someone's talking to you or do multiple things like we were talking about? Let us know in the comments. Share this with somebody who you think needs to hear this. Make sure you hit subscribe and our like button and notifications so you know when our next episode will come out. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.